Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a soft creamy eyeshadow and a statement red lip. This is the lovely Pearl, she's my beautiful model today, and we're just going to get started with some skin prep. So I'm going to go in with the Daily Resurfacer by Dermalogica. So I've used these before in previous videos, but they're just super handy to exfoliate the skin without using granules, and you just pop it on like a little finger puppet and then you just work over the skin. So I'm just going over Pearl's skin, just being nice and gentle, avoid the eye area, and this just lifts off any dry skin. It's also good for removing residue of tan. A lot of brides or bridesmaids sometimes have too much tan on and it can get caught in the hairline, so I often find these are really helpful to use on weddings if there's a little bit of buildup of extra tan. And then I just like to tissue off any residue. So I'm going to go in with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. So just close your eyes for me. So this just helps to prep the skin. It also acts as a primer. So I just like to press the product in with my fingers, just make sure that that's all absorbed. And then using my trusty Elizabeth Arden 8-hour cream for the lips. We're going to remove this balm at the end, but I just want to make sure that the lips are super hydrated because they're going to be a feature in this look. And just press your lips together. Perfect. And I'm going to use the Active Moist on Pearl. This is Active Moist Dermalogica again, with a little drop of the Phyto Replenish oil. So this just gives the skin a really nice glow. Just one drop though is enough. And it's not going to be too heavy with the Active Moist. So when you use the Phyto oil with the Active Moist, it actually still remains quite light. The oil is a featherweight oil, so it just sinks straight into the skin. And again, just working around, making sure that you catch all of the skin, and just make sure that you're really happy with the skin texture before you move on to foundation. If you feel like you need to add a little bit more moisturizer, then just go back in, which I'm going to do. And because this is a really lightweight moisturizer, you do want to make sure that you've got enough on the skin before you go in with foundation. Okay, so I'm going to use the Becca Skin Perfecting Primer in Moonstone, and I'm going to take a beauty blender and just go on the high points of the skin. So I use the Skin Perfectors quite a lot. I find that they just give you a really subtle glow and they don't roll underneath foundation. They also come in a range of colors, so you can match perfectly to your client's skin. And just working over the high points, just a little bit for a subtle glow. So the foundation I'm going to use on Pearl is the Zoeva Authentic Skin. This is in the color 050 Neutral. And I'm just going to start in the middle of the skin and just taking it all out. So this is a medium coverage foundation, and it just has a really nice finish. And the look that I'm doing today is a really good look for bridesmaids if you're running out of time, or if you kind of need to not cut a few corners but save time, because we're going to be using a cream eyeshadow. So we just do a wash of color over the eyelid And then we're going to concentrate more on the lips. And I feel like it's really nice to be able to offer your bridal party a range of different looks, not just all the same makeup look on every bridesmaid. So I love the finish of this foundation. It just gives a really beautiful texture to the skin. And I just like to stipple in over the skin. This brush, you can cover a really large surface area. Find the bigger the foundation brush, the more flawless it looks. You can also use these brushes to build up areas that you need a little bit more coverage. So rather than going in with a concealer, you can just add a little bit of extra product and then just conceal where you need a bit more help. Pearl's got beautiful skin, but we're just gonna have a little bit more coverage on the cheeks. And that way you don't see any lines with the concealer. And I'm just gonna go over the eyelid just a little bit. I'm working on the inner corners of the eyes. So for my cream eyeshadow, I'm going to use the MAC Paint Pot in Groundwork. So this is a taupey color. You need to be careful with this color because it can throw a little bit gray on the wrong skin types. But with Pearl's fair skin, it's going to look perfect. Just going to wipe all over the lid. So this is going to be our eyeshadow. We're going to keep the eyes pretty neutral. But we just want a little hint of color. This is also a really good product to have in your kit for mothers of the bride. I often feel that we do those last and you're kind of running short on time, and this is a product that you can just get onto the eyes and it looks really quite flattering on a lot of people. And I'm taking it underneath the brow bone and just out a little bit. And just open, just checking that shape. So it's really pretty, it's nice and soft. And just close again. And you can layer this product as well to build up the intensity. So I'm just gonna use a little bit more on the center of the eyelid and just patting that on. And again, just building up the intensity on the lid. Working quite quickly because this product does dry, so once it's dry it doesn't budge, which is perfect for makeup that needs to last all day. And just open and then close again. And this is the Morphe M433 brush. This is a great one for using creams. And you can see how as I'm building up the color, it really does create a beautiful finish. This photographs amazingly. And just open. And that just looks stunning. I love that just as it is. Gorgeous. I'm just gonna use a tiny little bit of liner on Pearl. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Rock and Coal eye pencil in black, and I'm just using my Kitco Pro smudging brush. I'll just get you to open your eyes and look straight ahead. So with Pearl's eyes, I just want to create a little bit of dimension on the outer corner of the eye. So if you just look up for me, I'm just going to work in, just pop my little puff on. And we just want to create a little bit of dimension on the outer corner. I'm not going to use any false lashes in this look. I was looking at Pearl's eyes and I was like, it's just not gonna suit you. When you're doing a really strong lip, then you can afford to really pare back the eyes. So I'm gonna add a little bit of definition on the top of Pearl's eye. So just close for me, just on the outer corners, lifting the lid. So I'm not gonna use lashes on Pearl. I find that with some eye shapes you don't need to. Pearl's got beautiful eyes and lashes would just overpower them. And you need to have the confidence to tell your brides it's not gonna suit them. They'd rather look beautiful on the day than look like a different version of themselves. So just lifting up the lid, and I'm just doing this just on the outer corners of the eyes only, just for a little bit of dimension. And just open. So the liner that I'm doing now will give us that definition that you want in the photos, but without overpowering the eye. And then open. Beautiful. And close. And then open again. And it's really important to keep opening and closing the eye to make sure that the placement is in the correct position. And then open. Gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to leave the eyes there and continue on with the skin. This is the Tom Ford shade and Illuminate. So this is a contouring palette. It's a cream contour. I'll just turn your head. Yeah, that's perfect. And I'm just going to use a really small amount just under the cheekbones. And again, just contouring just a little bit to add some definition to the face. I like to apply with a small brush and then blend it up. And then your head around. And then around the top of the hairline again. Making sure that you push it right back into the hairline, but not on the hair. And this is a nice warm contour. So it's perfect for yellowy undertones. And turn your head that way, that's it. And just blending as you go. I'm not going to contour the chin because we don't need to with Pearl's face. I just wanted to add a little bit of definition to the cheekbones. And back around. Perfect. So I'm just using a little bit of foundation on Pearl's ears. She got a little bit sunburnt the other day, which does happen with brides or models. It's quite common. So you just need to be on that and making sure that the skin looks nice and consistent. Okay. So I'm mixing two concealers together. This is the Becca Aqua Lumiere. So I'm using beige and a little bit of fair and just mixing those together. So I'm just using a really fluffy brush for concealer. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush in A10. So I use this on the eyes, but I also love it for concealer as well because it creates a really diffused look. And the Aqua Lumiere concealers are super hydrating, so they're really good for anyone that's got a little bit of dehydration. And they really just melt into the skin. Around the nose, across the cheeks. And I love to use small brushes just to perfect the skin after I've done foundation, because I just feel like you can really get into any smaller areas around the nose, across the brow. So it just gives you a little bit more precision. And then just going in and conceal anything else that you need to. This is the Nude Sticks Nude Matte Beach Babe. And I'm just gonna stipple this onto the cheeks. Just a little tiny bit of color. This is a really long wear cream blusher, which is perfect for bridal. And then just turn it back around. I'm gonna brush up the brows. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Becca Max Brow Guru in dark. I'm also gonna use medium as well, so medium and dark. And I'm just gonna really lightly feather in through Pearl's brows. She's got beautiful brows anyway. So again, it's just filling in the gaps, following the natural hairline. And then going in with the medium. And by using two colors, you just create a 3D brow, and the brow doesn't look flat. And I'll just bring your head back around. Going in with the medium. And always have a spoolie on hand just to comb it through, making sure that there are no harsh edges. And just working out on the tail where a little bit more sparse. Bring your hand around. Okay, around. Perfect. Just back up. Just want to make sure that's all nice and soft. And then just close. Just going back in, making sure all my edges are just nice and diffused. And open. Great. I'm going to curl the lashes now. So just look down, lifting the lid. And just make sure that they're really curled really well. If we're not using lashes, you want to make sure that the lashes are curled really beautifully. And just open. I think my favorite mascara, once again, this is the only mascara I use, Pearl. It's the Kevin Aquan. And I'm using a really small little spoolie. So just look down, going through the lash. I also like to use a fan brush as well. So this is really great for just combing through the lashes if you just want them to be nice and defined. This just creates a little bit of drama without being overly dramatic. And then just going on to the inner lashes, rolling back through the back end of the lash, and just making sure there's no excess product. And just lift straight ahead. Beautiful. And then I'll repeat the same on the other eye. And just catching the inside of the eyelash. I find these little mascara wands are really essential in your kit. They're really good with small eyes or anyone that's got really fine lashes. And so I just got these from the Model Rock website, and I never order enough. I go through them really quickly. I'm just fanning back through the lash and just look straight ahead. Perfect. And just close. I'm just gonna coat the skin a little bit there. Just use a cotton tip to take off any mistakes that you've made, and then just go back in and patch it up with the original brush. And open. Beautiful. So I'm just going to catch the bottom lashes. Just look up for me with the mascara brush. This is great for doing bottom lashes. Making sure you never double dip into your mascara wand. I've just applied the mascara onto another wand. So that's really framed the eyes nicely without being too heavy. I'm going to use the banana powder on Pearl's skin, just on the center of the forehead, around the nose and under the eyes. This just really helps to brighten the skin, and it's great for bridal. It just locks in the concealer, but I just want to concentrate it on the middle of the face. I don't use it on the nose, just around the nose, because it just builds up a little bit of extra color. So I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer and just going over the contour. So this is a really great matte bronzer that you can use to bring warmth to the skin, but also help to contour. And then back around, and I'm just going to go across the forehead, and then turn your head that way, that's it. And then just under the cheekbone. So it's really subtle contouring, which is what your brides want. They don't want to see any harsh lines. So you need to be really light-handed when you're using these products. Also just gonna tie a little bit of this bronzer just on the outer corners of the eye, because I just want to add a little bit more definition. Now I've seen everything on, just a little bit more shading on the outer corners, just a tiny bit. And just open. So the bronzer just ties everything in. And just open. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of the soap brow on Pearl. I just want to just lift up the brow because your Pearl's hairs are quite straight, so I feel like I need a product that's just going to have a little bit more lasting power than a gel. And you can still use this product just to keep the brows in place. It doesn't necessarily have to be that pushed up editorial brow, but it just gives you a little bit more grab for brows that are a little bit more trickier to work with. I find that the brow soaps also just give a little bit of texture to the brow as well. So you can either use it to fluff up the brows and stick them to the face for that editorial look, or we can just use it to give us a little bit of texture. So I'm just going to clean over the lips with my Bioderma just to remove any excess balm that I applied earlier. So we're going to do our statement red lips. This is the Pat McGrath lip liner in Major. These are my favorite liners to work with because they're super creamy and they last a long time. So when I'm doing a red lip, I always start with the Cupid's bow, and just using the pencil just to map out the shape. And then go on the bottom. So this product does go on really creamy, but it is going to dry, so you do need to work quite quickly. But just making sure that your lip shape is pretty good before we go on with the lipstick. So red lips are one of those things that as a makeup artist can freak you out a little bit. So you just need to take your time. Don't have too much coffee. Don't take the offer of champagne when you're working on a wedding. And just work in stages. I find when you want to get into the inner corner, you can just get your model just to tilt the head a little bit, and then you can just get that angle a little bit better. And don't be afraid to, move your model or your client's head around. They'd much rather you be confident and get that lip perfect. Obviously don't have her neck pricked for ages, but it really helps just to angle the head. And you can also see the shape better. And we'll go back in with the liner at the end, but I just want to map out the initial shape. Just lightly press your lips together. So I'm just gonna go up and just a tiny little clean up here. So this is really super mini cotton buds from My Kit Co. And these are really great to have when you're doing red lips, just to fix up the little mistake I did there, if you've colored outside the lines. Okay, so this amazing color, this is Always On by Smashbox. This is a liquid long wear lipstick. So it is quite a bright color, but everything else is pretty pared back. So we can go in with this. Okay, so again, just using the brush. I really do love this brush for lips. It is a bit of an investment, but I find if you're doing a statement lip, then investing in a really good lip brush is essential. So that edges just work for you. And I'll just get you to turn your head that way as well. And just support the skin. You can just drag the mouth away slightly, and that just creates a little bit of tension. And just going in really small feathery lines. So this is a really intense lip product. So it's gonna dry and it's gonna last all day, which is what you want when you're doing a bold lip. But you do need to work quite quickly before it sets. And I'd only ever recommend using a long wear lipstick for bright colors, because otherwise the bride's just gonna have to touch it up, or the bridesmaid's gonna have to touch it up constantly. So going back in, and I'm just gonna get you to turn your head again. And then we're just gonna catch the outer edge of the lip. Turn your brush around so you've got the flat edge. And I'm just gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna support the cheek there. And that allows you to get right inside the inner corners of the mouth. And I'm just using really light strokes. And then just checking that shape. Amazing. So we're gonna do the other side. So I'm going to go in with the corner first. You also need to make sure that you're working with good light as well. So either bring your own beauty light or use natural daylight so you can see exactly where you're going. And then pop your head straight. And then just making sure that your lip shape is perfect. I think the first couple of times I did this, I just didn't breathe at all, like silence and kind of concentrate so much. And then just tilt your head up just to make sure that your shape is perfect. Just going to go along the bottom of the lip. I'm just going to turn your head back around. Okay, so I'm just finishing off the lip now. So it's really important that when you feel like you have got the lip, then to step away from the products. You can run the risk of ruining it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. I think it looks beautiful. So the final thing that I'm gonna do now is just add a little bit of highlighter. This is the Hourglass bronzing trio. I'm just going to go in with the Radiant Bronze and a smaller brush, and I'll just get you to turn your head actually just that way. That's it. And I'm just going to catch a little bit on the outer corners of the eye and over the cheekbone. I'm not going to do the nose. I'm just going to concentrate this just on the outer corners and the top of the cheekbone. So this is a nice warm highlighter to complement Pearl's skin tone. Get rid of that fluff. Okay, awesome. I'm really happy with this look. So this is your cream eyeshadow with a bright red lip.